Welcome, everyone, to this October 2nd meeting of Information Technology and Communications. And stand with me, and we'll recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All righty. Item 3, do we have any additions or changes to the agenda?
No.
All right.
Move the agenda.
Support. Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, moving on. To the minutes. Approval of the minutes? Okay.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, it is now time for limited public comment. Seeing none, we're on to Communications Director update, and Logan is not here today.
So you're stuck with me, and I'm going to read his report, and I'm sure he's watching right now, so that was just for his benefit. No, most of what's been going on and what I think is critical is the amount of information that we've been getting out to the public in relationship to the ballot proposal. It's been a lot of work. We've been attending a lot of meetings. I believe he said in the report that we've been to 40 meetings, different capacities, with more that are planned for October. Next week is like every night that we're busy. So we're getting the word out best we can. And if anyone has any recommendations for anywhere else that we could go, we would love to do that too. That's been a really good experience, I think, and I think I mentioned previously at the board meeting that it's nice to know what some of these local communities are struggling with and the things that we didn't know about them. So I think that's been good in communications, and the fact that we haven't been out there at all for so many years and we're doing it, I think is a good thing. This is the fun stuff that Logan says that I'll read. 21 new followers in September, which most of everything is attributed to what we're doing and the outreach that Logan's doing, especially with the tax limitation proposal. I'm not going to go into his benchmarking. There was a decrease, so the website saw 27,500 users from September 1 to September 27. There was a decrease, which isn't uncommon apparently for this time of year. He wants to see more visits to the website, but obviously we've got to do what we can right now. There were an additional 3,000 visits that were due to the separate tax limitation proposal. That's a good thing. People are being pointed there and actually checking it out. He gave a graph. You can see the correlation between the events and the community meetings that we've done, which is, again, that's a great thing. Media, you can see from the list here that he's done an awful lot with media. Prosecutor Lloyd has been very active. Chairman Mott's been very active in getting out there and doing everything that they can to get the word out. So, again, amazing job to Logan. On October 16th, we have the ribbon cutting for the youth facility. I will say that that does not mean that it is complete where, the kids will be in the new part of it, but they'll be able to have the event. Still working on a couple of things there. We have next week, like I said, Calamall, Brookfield, Walton, Hamlin, and Chester. And then we have a lot of meeting and speaking events in Delta and Charlotte that are planned. And again, anything else that you want us to go to, anybody watching, the public other than Logan, and tell us where you want us, we'll be there.
Thank you for the report,
Thank you.
and I'm sure Logan appreciates you filling in for him.
Better.
I'll make sure he sends you flowers or something. All right, Technology Services Director update.
Good afternoon. First item on our list here is the civic clerk update, very brief update. Essentially, Dropbox has been decommissioned of how you were receiving your packet information, and that is moved to the application of Civic Clerk. Liz Walby, Technology Services, did a demonstration of that last month, I believe. Liz, do you have anything else that you wanted to add to that? It's live, it's working. Dropbox has been decommissioned from Packet.
Yeah, the one thing I think Liz has helped, and I know Claudine helped, but still a little bit of confusion on the email that comes out and then linking going into it, but we'll get there, and glad to be using it as we're learning. I still have no idea how to get an agenda together, but I have people who are amazing.
Next item I had was try to provide you with a broadband update. There isn't a lot of new developments in the arena now of broadband. I did put together a quick map today at lunch of just kind of showcasing where RDOF investments are actively at within Eaton County right now. There's a lot of development occurring in the southern half of Eaton County. The map that's provided, it's a multicolor map. The area shaded in red, that's called the Brookfield area, provided by Midwest Energy Communications. That is going to be basically how do I say this? Their main trunk lines are going to be completed this current calendar year, and then into the first quarter of next year, I believe they're going to start doing to the home installations. And then the area shaded in blue, that's going to be kicked off in 2025 as well. So between those two phase projects, there's a big area of Eaton County that will have high-speed internet provided to the home and businesses without even applying for this federal BEAD project. On October 15th, the Michigan High-Speed Internet Office will be hosting what they call Building Bridges for BEAD. It's an event that will be held at Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan, which is up north. The event is designed to initiate conversation between communities and BEAD-eligible locations and provide BEAD applicants in their area. Whether you represent a community eager to improve internet access or internet service providers planning to consider whether to apply for the BEAD grant, this event promises valuable insight and networking opportunities to drive connectivity and advancements across our state. So I kind of showcased that or talked about that a couple months ago, but this is an event that's happening in the next couple weeks, so I just wanted to have a reminder there. I will not be attending that. That's a long drive for a couple-hour event for me personally, so I won't be attending that, but wanted to make sure everybody was aware here and in the public that that is occurring.
Okay, thank you. Question about this map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the area in red, that's going to be serviced by whom?
Midwest Energy.
Okay, so will there be anyone else able to go into that same area and a competitor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not closed, it's not exclusive?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct. Yeah, it's actually, it's funny you mentioned that. Subdivision in Delta Township where I live now, MetroNet actually installed high-speed internet in that subdivision 2 years ago, and we woke up this week to Frontier also installing fiber high-speed internet in that area, digging up lawns and putting in infrastructure and handholds and conduit. So, and that's again another project outside of BEAD. So even though BEAD is kind of out there waiting and internet service providers are gearing up their applications, it hasn't stopped the development and rollout of additional internet services in our community. So it's very much moving forward without BEAD.
So each carrier has to put in their own infrastructure. It's not like the cell towers where you can have 2 or 3 carriers on a cell tower.
That's what it appears to me, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And then on that same map, on the back side of that, it's basically just a quick graphic showing areas shaded in green. Those are RDOF awarded areas in Eaton County. Now, not all of those are done by Midwest Energy. Mercury Wireless has a lot of those areas shaded in the northern part of the county, and I wasn't able to pull the timeline for that if they've started rollout of that, but they are scheduled to complete that task. I apologize for the quick map, but something I put together quickly today, so you had something tangible. Yeah. Um, Also, another update regarding broadband. According to the state's website, pre-registration for internet service providers was supposed to be kind of wrapped up this quarter of this year. It looks like they've extended that out into the end of fourth quarter of this calendar year. So they're still extending pre-registration. Official registration hasn't been officially announced yet for the BEAD application for internet service providers, but they're trying to get kind of pre-registration to kind of gauge of who's going to be submitting applications, getting things vetted, paperwork submitted. So they're extended that by another quarter this year and possibly into the first quarter of '25. Another source of information for all of you and for the public, if you go, it's a website, if you go to www.findingmap.fcc.gov, that's an online service that the FCC has put together that you can see all of the homes and businesses in Eaton County that are currently served by an internet service provider. And it also highlights, like these RDOF projects that we talked about, it indicates if they're under that funding jurisdiction as well. Now, because BEAD hasn't been officially kicked off yet, or those project awards haven't been kicked off or announced, those aren't on here yet. But I suspect once those are awarded or decided by the Michigan High-Speed Internet Office, probably midsummer of 2025, that'll still be the resource to go to see where awards and which internet service providers were awarded those areas in Eaton County. Any other questions regarding broadband?
Commissioner Haskell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the area for Mercury Wireless is the north of Charlotte?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we know of any other projects for the area that would be like physical line service?
I don't. That's all I know. That's what was provided on that FCC's website. So if, you know, the project that I was talking about with Frontier that's in a subdivision in Delta Township right now, that's all privately funded, so it's not listed on these state or federal sites right now.
Okay. And for the BEAD process that comes forward, say this company or any other company wants to kick off an actual physical infrastructure service to the home for that area, they would still be able to do that regardless of the line of sight type?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Eric?
I did have a couple more topics to talk about. Been very busy the last all year, but really wrapping up final projects for our current fiscal year. The youth facility expansion project, we're down to the final pieces now of connecting a couple of HVAC units, basically air conditioning units in the new data center closets. Those will be finalized this week. The Delta Township substation, we actually physically received the technology that's going in that facility late last week. Technology Services admin, network admin team met yesterday to start developing the networking scope for that. And then according to the project timeline, the internet service for that facility is slated to be installed the first week of November. And then we've been able to get on the schedule to start our installation of hardware roughly the week of the 18th of November. And we have about a 3-day window to get everything installed. So it'll be busy, but it'll be well planned out and hopefully flawless.
And what do you think the length of service of that location is going to be?
I don't dare to say that.
Well, we could do that off the record if you
Yeah.
want.
Other things that we're working on, we're wrapping up projects for this fiscal year. We will have some rollover projects that we will be requesting due to just saturation of projects we weren't able to get to, either from a time constraint or from third-party vendors not having time to schedule. So there are some marquee projects, one being work order replacement system that's been on the books for at least a year and a half now. That's working in coordination with our facilities management department. They've been slightly busy this year with different projects and it's kind of been put on the back burner. So that's one, and then also some new software that's going into the jail facility of replacing some old legacy stuff. But those are just a couple marquee projects that we'll be doing a rollover on, and then now preparing for, things that were identified in the capital improvement fund, so aging infrastructure that we're gonna start getting ordered here rather quickly because it's reached its useful life, and we can't continue to get contracts in those pieces of equipment. So things such as electronic, storage, a couple of network switches, things of that. So we're gonna be busy, extremely busy through the rest of this calendar year, just getting those things in place. Any questions regarding any of that?
I don't see any. All right, thank you, Eric. Okay, we are now at miscellaneous. Any miscellaneous today?
No, but I'll just talk.
Sure,
I feel like talking.
absolutely.
Feel like communicating, Logan. I just want to say what Eric just talked about in his report. I think everybody needs to know the significance of everything that they're doing. It's I think probably unheard of at a lot of counties that we would have such a small staff getting what they're doing done on a daily basis. And I know Eric, he works like I do. It's nonstop. I mentioned this in our executive team meeting yesterday, that Eric said, hey, can you get off your computer? Do you mind? Because it's like, what was it, 9:30, 9:45 or something? Because I want to just do an update. That's how we work. So I want you to know that that's how Eric and his staff are working. When he talks about rollover projects, that work order project as an example. Obviously, we're not going to present that this month. Next month, we would present it, or in December. But here's the thing. If we don't have additional revenue, why would we do a work order program, right? Even though Chad's wanted it, right? There may be projects that Eric would have that would be put on the back burner because we're not going to have the revenue to do it, so why would we enter into anything? I just think everybody needs to be aware of that. You will see some things come to a halt, and it's a huge deal. We've been talking about it. Eric, when we have meetings, he just looks at me. Do you see the look he has right now? It's just like, where are we going to go from here? So Eric and I are going to have a meeting, and we're going to go over technology throughout, because we've got to be ready if something doesn't happen. So, but kudos to him and his staff, and then also to Logan. The amount of work that he is doing, wow, it's crazy. He's home sick today. He's been working all day. He takes calls, last-minute calls. Somebody's got a ballot. They just got their absentee ballot, and they want an explanation of what this means, because they thought it should say something like public safety or the prosecutor's office. So he's taking all of his time to respond quickly. He's doing a great job, and you got to know how many hours he's working is unbelievable. So great job, you guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And Nate will be the one going to that meeting up 2 hours north, is that correct? Kidding, Nate, I'm just kidding. All right, is there anything else?
No?
Okay, limited public comment. Still have none? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.